Welcome to the Outer Realm with MicheleDerocher and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday night segment of The Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 FM from the Gulf Coast, 107.7 FM from beautiful New Orleans. We're fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee who have been a part of our journey since the very beginning. So thank you, Folgers. We couldn't do it without you, nor would we want to. Also, big thank you to Justin Snicker, aka Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, for his contribution of his time, his music, and his voice for the intro that you just heard. He's an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and darkwave electronic music, which can be found on all of your favorite music streaming platforms, so check him out. Also, big thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind the banners and logos here at the show. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. Also specializes in the Halloween genre, horror genre, but does incredible commission pieces, especially pets, which is like my favorite. I know I'm kind of like all like, love and light and sometimes dark and, and I look at puppies. Yes, exactly. Anyway, tonight I've really been looking forward to this because for the very first time, we are going to introduce you to Toni Ghazi. You guys are going to love him. I love him. The Antarean-Heart, I hope I said that right. And he is a channel and spirit guide. And he works through the Praying-Mantis Beings and the Antares Stargate to bring messages of unconditional love and integration from interdimensional and extraterrestrial beings. So we all love this stuff. We do, because these shows just go way up there. And, as an experiencer, I really dig it a lot. And it's quite fascinating because I love learning things. You guys are the only ones who learn things. Amelia and I, who's under the weather, by the way, sends her love to everybody, love, light, hugs. And let's send her back some healing energy. But, we basically love to learn from our guests as well. So we see everybody's chiming in. Hello, Heidi. Hello, Wayne. Oh, there we go. Okay. Wow. That's going to be, we're just going to put a star on that. And then when we get to some questions and comments, we will most certainly ask Toni to address that. My beautiful Yana. Hello, darling. Hello. And thank you. I miss you. Okay. Kathy. Hello. Hi, Z-Sun. Hello. Oh my gosh. Everybody's chiming in. Michael. Hello. Oh my goodness. Mark, you're awake. You're in the UK. It's 2:00 in the morning, but thank you. We appreciate the fact that you were here. Thank you. And I see people are also chiming in on Rumble. So guys on Rumble and everybody on X, we can see your comments. So if you want to put them up, the only platform that we are on that does not have a chat room is Roku TV, of course, but we can bring all of your comments here on the board. And again, please remember, we are, hello, Sherry. Please remember, we're like an 8-lane superhighway coming down a 1 lane, and I have to filter everybody's messages, and we go at the same pace as our guest. So I will put stars next to comments. I will occasionally flash up your comments so he can see them. And if there's a question, we will come back to it and we will definitely get to everyone. Hello. Hi, Craig. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to my new friend, Toni Ghazi. Hello.
Hi, sweetheart.
Hello. How are you?
I'm in love with you.
Thank
Your energy is
I got
infectious.
you.
Your energy is infectious. And I mean, like my face is smiling so hard.
Aw.
It's been smiling. But thank you for having me here. It's an absolute pleasure, absolute
Ah,
honor, to be on your show and to have your beautiful audience and your family here
you.
from all over the world. So we're
Thank you.
all one, as you know. So,
Yes.
and like
Yes.
you said, the key word, we're all learning, and that's what life is all about. What's expansion? It's that. I
It,
teach you and like you teach me. You're my ascended master. I'm your ascended master. We're all ascended masters. So
yes. Thank you. Thank you. And I always say it's an evolution. It's an evolutionary journey that we keep learning and we keep growing.
ab-
So,
absolutely. And look, we're infinite beings. Like we literally go on and on and on and on
mhm,
forever. Like we can't even imagine what infinity is. So it's all about that expanding and just like realizing what form of expression we are. We're the infinite and
mhm,
explore all those things, be all those things. Um,
mhm,
and it's all honored by creation. Like they're here right now and like they're saying, we honor every choice that you make. We honor every decision that you have made, will make, and are making.
mhm,
Creation never judges us ever, ever, ever. Our humanity created the whole idea of this polarity, of this
yes.
judgment to also experience, because we experience through that. But
Mhm.
God, source, like the universe, never judges us. It's just because we're it and it's us. There's no separation.
I agree. I agree. And it's nice to hear somebody else say it because I feel sometimes like I'm always just trying to brainwash people. This is what it's like. So, but I love them. They love me. It works.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because we get things intellectually. It's so easy because we're trained to understand things, things intellectually, but
Mhm,
we really don't understand what we are saying at times. The expanded version of the words, right? So it's like when I say, "I am the infinite," or it's all about like unconditional love. Humanity doesn't know what unconditional love is.
mhm,
Unconditional love means literally no conditions to love, loving everything, part of everything.
mhm.
And so it may feel like at times you're trying to brainwash people, but like we're not. We're just trying to expand them beyond the mind and to begin being in the conscious energy that they are, to be
Mhm,
able to experience things from a very wider lens, not using the mind, but using the energy body that they
mhm.
are to begin with.
So essentially, you're planting the seed. I like that. See, it's gentler. So-
Totally. And there are forests growing, not a tree, forests, because there's so many seeds being planted.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So tell me, Tony, I mean, some people just fall into their paths, other people build towards their path. How is it for you? Because you're on this incredible journey and I love your energy. It because screams at me through the emails. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is like amazing. So obviously, whatever you're doing is infectious.
Yes. Thank you, love. So I expanded exponentially practically like overnight. So I'll give you a like little bit history for your audience. So
Okay.
I stutter. I would like to begin by saying, and I've always stuttered all of my life, and it really was bad when I was younger.
Mhm,
But when I became a channel, or like when I channel, all the stuttering goes away,
mhm,
and that was my proof, like for the first time, that whatever just happened, whatever like state of being I'm in, is really like real. What just occurred, because I've never not stuttered. So
okay.
I use the word and I use the word like because it helps me transition. Because if I don't, I go and the word doesn't come out. That's just
Right.
my journey. That's who I am. That's one of
That's
my.
okay. That's
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you. So I grew up in Lebanon, and I moved to the US when I was 15 years old, to Washington, D.C. And we'll talk about the hearing in one second because I was there today live. In person.
Oh, woo, all right.
Briefly, like just quickly. So I moved to the US, and I grew up Christian Orthodox. So like Christianity was in my was in my field until, and it still kind of is, until I would say like right before COVID came 2 or 3 years ago. I began kind of like falling like away from like the idea of being very entrenched into, I had like Mother Mary, I had Jesus, all these icons, I had a whole table filled with all these beings, like the statues. And I actually woke up one morning and I just felt the need, or this calling, that I don't need like these statues anymore. That it's important to rely on me and they're within me. But I didn't understand like what that meant, and I struggled for like 3 months to even like move like one of the statues, because I put so much power into the statues that they're have to be here, right? And I'm like, oh my god, I can't throw them away, I cannot store them, like I can't put them in a box, I have to donate. Like I really struggled. And then COVID comes, and of course like the whole world shut down, and you had some time. So I'm a realtor, and I sell real estate, and I still do. But like during the first 3 months when COVID came, the whole world's trying to figure out
Everything in
what's
the
going.
world was quiet.
Everybody was quiet, and I had some time when normally I'm like, don't have time. I work 20 hours a day, and I have so much
I
energy.
get that.
You know,
Yes.
but like because of that quiet down, all of a sudden, all these documentaries would like show up on TV about aliens, about UFOs, about channelings, about consciousness, about bio, like quantum physics, and I'm watching these shows, and I'm not watching them. Like I understand the English of like what's being said, but no context at all of how it like would gel together. And like for the longest time I didn't understand like what consciousness meant. I wanted something like what is consciousness? Everybody says consciousness, this consciousness, like what is consciousness? I want to feel it. I really struggled with that, and it was 3 months.
Right.
And then I watched a show on the Gaia channel that's called Interview with Extra Dimensionals by Reuben Langdon. It was all about channelings. All these people that have been channeling since like the 80s, and I was obsessed with that show. I watched it maybe 3, 4, 5 times each episode. There was only 12 or like 14 episodes, religiously for like, I don't know, like a week and a half. I was immersed, again, not understanding the whole thing. And then I stopped watching all this. And then all of a sudden, I kind of like went on my path. Like, when you like begin awakening, like you awaken like one day, like for 2 or 3 hours, and then you go back to 3D life and forgetting about what you just awakened. And like 3 months later, like there's another like there's
it's a discipline, right?
Very.
That you need to find within your busy life.
Exactly. So like the first year, I was like that. Like 1 month, I would awaken like for 2 or 3 hours, and I'm back to reality, like working hard, blah blah blah. And a year later, just by synchronicity, there's this woman that I met who teaches like channelings, or like how to channel. And I took her class almost immediately. Like the moment where I didn't stutter, I knew that I could channel. Like no way on. I always stutter, and I still do, and I always have every breath like that I take. I felt like a prisoner of my own throat and speech, and I still do at times. But the fact that I was able to speak fluently with so much ease, like under the state, was my proof that I'm meant to do that. I was so excited, and I just ran with it. And then I had my first like past life regression. The first image that came through was a praying mantis being. First thing. And please understand that I've been afraid of insects all of my life. I am don't like anything.
They're big, scary looking ones too, like even in small form.
Totally. Like I don't like many-legged things. I don't like I was so afraid of. I would like scream like a girl, like like really. It was so funny.
Right.
But like when they came through, I mean, like the connection that I had is unbelievable. It was a flash of like the praying mantis head, but within that flash, I was in infinity. So I had 2 awarenesses, like for the first time, where I was in this quick flash, like instant of this experience, but yet I was in for a long time. The next image, it was this like long-bodied silhouette of this pure light, and it looked humanoid. And like the immediate download that came through is, we are coming to you in like the humanoid form, because your mind, if we come in our truest form, which is like pure consciousness, and we're so like wide and expanded, like your mind will not be able to understand like what it's seeing, and it will break down in a sense. It just wouldn't be able to really comprehend like what it's seeing. So like they had to come in like the humanoid form. The third, and then the last image that came through, and this is very like visceral images, is I'm inside this heart, all these layers, these split layers into infinity, but all faceted, and the clearest crystal that I could ever describe. It's like conscious clarity, if that even makes sense. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if you've seen the most clearest crystal, this goes beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And within that infinity, like there's this like middle point, and in that middle point, a small like spark of light. And when I say small as a grain of sand, and I had the download is that all of you, like all of us, all of consciousness is so powerful that you don't need a big flame or a big fire to reveal to yourself how super powerful you are.
Mm.
That small light, like reflected off the one facet to the next, to the next, to the next, into like the infinity, that, and this heart became, and I have chills all over my body right now, like very, very strong chills.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it became a Merkaba of light, and I knew in that moment that I'm love and I'm light, and like from that instant, I knew that I lived as a mantis, that I connect with the mantis beings. I knew nothing about them. There isn't a lot of information out there. There aren't many people that channel them. Like actually, there aren't many books or any information. So I needed to rely on my information that I get through them, and then it was just in me. And then like the next thing I'm like that would happen, I would wake up in the middle of the night. I'm a great sleeper. I can take cat naps. I can get up and go to the bathroom 8 times. I can go like back to bed. Never had an issue sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
But as I was awakening, I would get up at like 2 or 3:30 or 4:44, and I cannot sleep for 2 or 3 hours. Like I cannot sleep, and I'm sitting there on my phone. I'm trying to watch TV. My body's exhausted. I'm like, I just need to go to bed. I cannot. But I knew then that I had all these spirits working on me, and I needed to simply like surrender. And I didn't need to know what was happening. But in those moments, a lot of amazing, like magical things would happen, which one of them was, you need to get up. You need to create a decal on like the back of your car, which is like an advertisement now, really. It's not just one decal that said, you speak to aliens, like you speak to mantis being. You have to create a website and just put it out there, and like put praying mantises and aliens and like Bigfoot and all kinds of things on like the back of your car.
That's crazy.
Like, look, it's insane. Look, I live in Washington, D.C., a very conservative town.
I was going to say, yeah.
And I sell real estate. So I have clients with me all the time, like showing them houses from all walks of life. And I'm driving in this car, and I want to show you like the back, like just for you. So this, in like July 2023.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
And
That'll
I
do
have
it.
a few aliens like on the side. This
Yeah.
was my, in a sense, declaration, like and I've never put, I'm a realtor, I can help you sell a house and I'm not called to do that. But this was my declaration, like to the universe, that I'm ready to step into this version of me, not knowing where I was going to go, where it's going to lead. But I just need to embody it. And everything else just exploded. All of a sudden, I have all these events that are calling me. I've been going to the events since last November, and I have an event every month. I travel every single month. I think until next July.
Very nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
I'm like where I channel live, like where I meet people, where we. I mean, it's just been. And like that's kind of like the short of it is, and it's just been so magical. And the conversation I have like with my clients about spirituality, because the first thing that they see is that they're like, "What is that, Toni?" I mean, I meet strangers every day. They're like, "What is that?" And we have the most beautiful, heart-opening conversation. It's not about me trying to convince you of X, Y, and Z. It's just me like walking in like my truth, just letting you know this is where I am, and this is and
planting the
this is
seed.
my story. Exactly.
It reminds me of the film Field of Dreams, where they say, build it and they will come. So, they're telling you, just put it out there, and these people will come to you. They'll gravitate to you.
Totally. And listen, I get strangers from all walks of life that feel my energy. They're like, "Oh my God, Toni, like, what's your energy? I want to be around you." And I'm like, all you're feeling is the version of you that is clear. Like, you're not feeling my energy, like, really. I'm just an excuse for you to understand what you have within you. That like the excitement, this clarity, this like knowingness, this joy, this unconditional love you're feeling is already within you. And when you see it in me, you recognize it like within you, but you're not yet aware that it is within you.
It's like an activation.
Totally.
Right.
And ever since I've been doing that. It's just my life has been filled with magic, with like
Mhm.
synchronicities. And look, I grew up in I come from a very poor background. I
Mhm.
didn't grow up with money. I grew up with a lot of super disempowerment. So I needed to work on those.
Mhm.
Also, self-worth. I need to work on that. Also,
Mhm.
self-love. This whole year was about self-love. I'm a big
Mhm.
giver of time, of money, of effort, of energy.
Mhm.
Until this year, I began really giving myself time, and all this journey is really like for me. So it's a learned process. It's an expansion,
Mhm.
and and um and like when I channel like for people, I always tell them I'm not extra special than anyone else. We all can channel. We're all channelers. We're all divine
Mhm.
beings. We're all ascended masters. But I'm here as your excuse to empower yourself, and you're there like for me as my excuse to remind myself of the
Mhm.
power within. So we're always constantly like co-creating, because we're beautiful infinite beings, and we
Mhm.
never die, love. As you know, we're always living. This is just
Mhm.
I have a costume, but my
Yeah.
human body is a costume of my infinite energy.
Mhm.
We're in Halloween every day, guys. We're just
That's
playing
true.
out these roles. Literally, we live in Halloween every day. Just choose
Yeah.
what role you want to be in and be it and
Mhm.
experience it and explore it. So
So let me ask you this, because there's a lot of stigma attached to channeling. There's a big belief that it's a form of possession, allowing another being to come within you to be able to communicate. So how do you handle that? Have you ever had an issue where you've had to try to pop them back out, or because you're a vessel essentially?
totally. And look, we all are. And look,
Yes.
it's like really funny because about 2 weeks ago, and then like last week, I had two instances all about the Bible. I was driving, and I guess people saw like the back of my car,
Mhm.
and like they honked. I'm like, "Hi, guy," and I'm like super friendly. I roll the window
Mhm.
down and I talk, and like this guy like grabbed the Bible. He's like, "Jesus, you gotta follow Jesus." I said, "Jesus is in my heart." I mean, but
Yes.
he wouldn't comprehend what that means. He's like, "No,
Mm.
you have to follow Jesus." I said, "I'm a Christian too, but he's in my heart. I am Jesus." And I had this look he had this look on his face, like, "No, like I'm not." I'm like,
You
you know,
can't be with conditioned religion. You can't be and love all of the things that you are putting out there on your billboard, and be a Christian.
exactly. But why? Because
Right.
we were taught that we are like separate than these deities, right? Like
Yes.
Mother Mary's outside of us, Jesus
Mhm.
outside of us,
Mhm.
Krishna, Buddha, which
Correct.
they're exterior outside of this body, and we're always trying to grab them when that's not the truth. And it's all been designed that way to keep you away from your heart,
Mm.
to keep
Mhm.
you away like from within, to keep you through the idea of separation. Because when you begin to experience real integration, meaning I'm
Mm.
integrating myself within the wholeness of who I am,
Mhm.
which I
Mhm.
am Mother Jesus, I am Christian, I mean, I'm all of it. And when you begin integrating those aspects within you and allowing them to live in you, because they are like inside of you, then you begin to feel like to feel like empowered, but also
Mhm.
like the idea of me being worthy to be a god
Mhm.
has been like conditioned that we're not worthy. We're sinners.
Well, that's actually taboo and heresy,
Yeah.
depending on your religious background, your faith.
But it's designed to keep you away from the truth,
Mhm.
which is we are not sinners. There is no sin. We cannot create sin because we are
Mhm.
creators. We're just creating experiences to expand.
Mhm.
And the next level up, when you really awaken, which really triggers people, is oh, so like the bad version of me is also, yes, we're everything. We're the
Mhm.
good, we're the bad, we're the evil, we're the peaceful, and like we're the neutral. And like that's a concept that really like
We're
pushes
all encompassing,
we're
essentially.
all encompassing all of it, because
Mhm.
creation doesn't see those as good, as bad, or as evil. We created that spectrum, which is
Mhm.
judgment, right?
Mhm.
Creation just sees that you're expanding and you're experiencing, and it's just energy. There's no
Mhm.
labels to the energy. We are creating through our experience the label of what good means. How do you know what good is if we didn't create the meaning of what of what good is? It's
So,
just energy.
essentially, it's like humanity that puts labels on everything. Like,
Exactly.
we as human beings are labeling everything around us.
Exactly.
Yes.
But like through that darkness, right, the quote
Mhm.
unquote, these like challenging, troubled times, which are illusions, like to begin with, it
Mhm.
allows us to expand more. Because
Mhm.
even if you go in the depth of darkness, Even if you're the most evil person on earth, and if you've done a lot of atrocities and killed people and wished people bad, even that through the eyes of creation is ascended mastery.
Mm-hmm.
And also, what a strong, powerful soul you must be to choose that role in this lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
to allow
Mm-hmm.
others to observe you and open their heart with compassion and
Mm-hmm.
begin to challenge themselves that even though I'm observing a thing that's called like evil, I can still have compassion enough that he's an ascended master or like she's an ascended master.
Mm-hmm.
And they chose that path for them to
Mm-hmm.
experience expansion from their own lens, but for me to experience expansion from my own lens to allow my heart to open up even further. Because it's easy for us to judge and say that's bad and this is good. We're
It is.
trained. We have PhDs in judging. Like we've been so trained.
Mm-hmm.
But the real like struggle is to step away like from judgment and see everything with unconditional love. And unconditional love meaning loving every human, every experience, every choice, every observation, every reality, every probability. And that is true ascension, like in a sense. And that is true like enlightenment when you begin expanding your lens beyond
Your awareness.
Your awareness, exactly.
Right? Awareness, which takes you onto that next level. I just want to get to some questions and comments
Please,
before we
please.
get too far down. So
Okay.
one, of course, is Howie, and this is much respect to you. Master Ghazi puts hands of Drago in front of bows in absolute respect. There we go. And then we've got this comment by Wayne. All old paintings of Jesus and Mother Mary often show them pointing to the heart, not the head. The heart is the power source of spirit, not the mind. Excellent. First question. Foggy Notions. Oh my God, did you read the Immaculate Constellation release?
I did not read it, but I was there at the hearing. I was physically there with
Okay.
everybody.
Okay.
And like supposedly it's this whole compilation of all these like images and all these proof that like there is alien contact. There's all the technology. But look, when you begin expanding and you begin relying on yourself, because look, guys, the wisdom is within us. Like we don't need to wait for the government like to tell us of disclosure.
We
It's
know.
all within you. We have access to it, and this is our true power. But when we like disempower ourselves and place our power into the government's hands, say, you tell me like when I'm ready to to
have an
begin believing.
experience.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's all
Yes.
within us. We all can talk to aliens. We all can talk to all these deities. You can talk to Jesus and Mother Mary and Buddha. It's all within us. So so I don't put too much stock in that 3D stuff. I went there because I wanted to experience like what it is, and I wanted to represent like the Galactic Federation of all beings. I'm like, I want to anchor light here, and I and I like literally said, I am here with an open heart, unconditional, compassionate heart. To observe your reality, to observe your path, to observe and honor where everyone is here, but also to honor my journey. And this was exactly like what I did today. I was just there, just holding space and just witnessing creation at play, because it really is.
It is. And, it's sort of, a little bit belittling to us experiencers who have experiences and, people like, but I know I'm having an experience. You're telling me it's no such thing, or, it's a drone, or, I mean, I agree. It's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything, have another question for you. The lovely Dr. Yana Greenberg. Toni, does channeling happen spontaneously or only when you are prepared for the transmission of information?
Very good question, Dr. Yana. We are all channels, and we always have been channeling. That's the key. Everyone has been channeling, but you're not aware you are. It's that simple. When you begin really becoming aware, then you re-empower yourself, and you just realize, oh my God, I've been unconsciously, like we're all unconsciously channeling, because we are channels. We are this vessel like of energy that's constantly flowing through us, right? It's just when you become more aware that you are of that, you have access to what's coming through. But if like you're not aware, you have like all this flow of energy that's constantly like looping, then you just don't know that it's there. You can take some channeling classes where like we use some tricks of the mind to help you begin believing that you are a channel, and then like you're on your own. And I have classes that I teach. People, and there's a lot of other
I
channelers.
have your website just scrolling across the bottom there too. So
Thank you. So you can find it.
yes, there you go. And I've perused it. It's a really great site. You guys have to check it. I'll put it up in the comments a little later because I know it'll get lost up in the top if I do it too early. Kathy says, Toni, your aura is beautiful. So
I'm a reflection of you, my love. What you're seeing
no.
here is what's already within you. I truly look, when I say these things, I don't say them like to just pat on your back. No, I really mean it. What you're seeing is you, and what I'm seeing in you guys is me, and I'm very aware of that. And I constantly like remind myself. So look, I began doing my nails, like, which I've never done my nails in my whole life. But it's the
Right.
yin and the yang, right? So
Mhm.
I'm the dark, and I'm sorry, right? Like I'm the dark, and I'm the light within the dark. But I'm also the light.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm the light, and like I'm the dark within the light. Sorry, my
Mhm.
finger. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
So and I'm really doing this to express what creation is. This has nothing to do with the fact that I'm gay and I have a husband and whatever. It just has to do with if I say that I'm the infinite and I am a creator and I'm I'm an expression of creation, which is infinite. I want to understand like what it means to have your nails done, like for example, or to have this thing, or to have these tattoos, or to be a channel one day, or to be a realtor, or to be a love and light, or
But you're
to be
manifesting. Essentially, it's manifestation, which it creates your path within your path, your journey,
yes,
right? When
yes,
everybody says you can manifest your reality, that pretty much is what you're doing. You're just using a different terminology,
exactly.
right?
And guys, we're all magicians. We always have been.
Mhm,
Our words are spells. Our
mhm.
emotions are spells.
They
Our
are.
state of being are spells. So
Yes.
use the
Intention.
word, exactly, the intention constantly.
Mhm,
I mean, like the other day, like I was walking outside and uh, and I literally like said, with every step that I'm making, I'm
mhm,
creating magic. I,
mhm,
and I speak to myself all the time because I want to train my mind to begin thinking that way. With
mhm,
every step that I take, I'm creating. I am creating magic with every breath that I take, which we're breathing all the time. I'm creating magic with every heartbeat that I have. I am creating magic. That alone will shift you. Like we can do that all the time, and your world will change. Believe me.
mhm, mhm.
With that powerful.
Here's a question. Alan, hello, Alan, asked Toni about the flow of energy, aka chakras, because he demonstrated how the energy flows.
Talk about the flow of energy.
Of energy, yeah,
Yes.
and also known as the chakras, because you demonstrated how the energy flows. So I guess he's looking for a description of that,
Sure. So
how
look,
it
there's all
works.
kinds of yeah. So there's all kinds of ways like out there where people have described like you have the crown chakra, like you have your third eye chakra, like your throat chakra, you have your heart chakra, you have like what is like solar plexus and God, I forget the lower chakras what they're called. But like the point is we are energy beings. We're more than the physical, right?
Mhm,
But because our consciousness has like a set of kind of rules to understand our world, because like we decided that we live like in a physical world, we experience our reality like within that limitation, when in reality we're actually this like pure energy, this like conduit of this flow that's kind of toroidal, if you've heard of like of the donut shaped, right?
mhm,
It goes like
mhm,
this and it goes out, so we're this constant energy. But
mhm,
even the idea of chakras are like in a sense like the first layer to begin understanding yourself. I'm beyond the physical, uh, like but I'm energy. Because like
mhm.
when I'm channeling and I go off into the realms of like
Your
all
energy.
energy, I'm everything. Like
Mhm,
I'm literally everything. I'm the ocean, I'm the tree, I'm the
mhm,
sun, I'm the planets, I'm the aliens, I'm the humans,
mhm,
I'm all of it. I'm everywhere, all these little pieces, but yet I can be all one body, but I can be all separate body. Like all these awarenesses are one. Um, so the chakra system, I feel, is like the first step to allow your mind to
mhm,
push against the idea that I'm like more than physical, that
mhm,
I'm all these points, and like from these points, then you expand into that I'm this big bubble of energy, and like
mhm,
from that, I'm all these little like dots and points. I'm the grid line, of creation.
mhm.
if that makes any sense.
It does. It does to me.
Yeah.
Wayne says, Tony, in my very unexpert opinion, I believe you're evolving so quickly. And in doing so, you are stretching the limits of your physical being. This is wonderful, but can be very frustrating as well.
Hi, Wayne. I love your question. You are you are an expert in so many ways, and you are so beautifully an expert that you're creating the idea of unexpert to help me expand through that question. I want you to know that. And that's how an ascended master, like you are. So yes, because I'm expanding, like super quickly, I have back issues. So about, I don't know, I want to say about 6 years ago, I began forming this like lower disc on like pain, and like when it flares up, I can't walk for a week. I'm hunched over, extreme pain with the spine, and it just drove me. I mean, I used to go to the gym every day. I would run out. I used to be like super muscular. I lost all of that like because of that journey. But it happened because I feel that I had a Kundalini awakening, that like my physical body was not ready yet, like in a sense, and it needed to acclimate. But because of that, it pushed me into spirituality, and I'm learning like through that expansion and like through breath work to kind of heal myself in a sense. I mean, I'm not broken like to begin with, so I'm training my mind to keep thinking I'm not broken, that it's just energies that just that I need to like surrender into the true beingness of who I am. But when I resist who I am, you know, I form these back pains as like part of resistance. So that so like the challenging like aspect of like what you mentioned is like the physical aspect, because because like when I channel, I kind of leave my body, but when I come back to my body, I have all these energies that are in this vessel, but this vessel is not equipped to handle like the infinite. So, but it's through me kind of surrendering through all that that helps me, you know, experience the pain, or then like no pain, and like the release of it, and etc.
The human experience, basically. Right. So I have to ask, was it the mantis that, I mean, obviously they're saying, you know, put this out there, people will come to you. So you are essentially, what kind of downloads or messages do you get from them, especially with humanity? Because we're in a little bit of turmoil, but we have lots of love, lots of light, and I think there's just, you know, we're sort of under the thumb of the powers that be a little bit, and some people can deal with it because they are open, such as yourself, and some people are very enlightened and take the bad along with the good and take it all in stride, but others tend to feel very lost. So
so look, that's a very good question. Humanity is in a sense one of the few species across the galaxies that are like, we're being watched by the many. We're being watched by many beings because we're one of the few ones that have chosen to come into darkness so deep. We're one of the few ones that chose, because look, as an infinite creator, like, you know, you're infinite, and like, you know, you're powerful, and like, you know, that your consciousness. But like, there was a point in time where we decided, okay, we've experienced all that. I want to experience the other side, which is, how would my life be, or how would my experience be if I don't remember like that I'm powerful? And we really are viewed as ascended masters by many beings, and we are monitored. This is why like we have all these spaceships, and we have all these aliens, and we have all these beings like really contacting us, because we're kind of on the precipice of like leaving, I would say, like the dark ages, and really like coming back into our remembrance that we are the infinite.
Sort of awakening of sorts.
Awakening of sorts, like from a deep sleep of totally forgetting and being very separate, like from all. So humanity is on this beautiful like trajectory. So like, this is kind of an overall quick aspect of it. But now when you expand even further and further and begin believing in like parallel realities and infinite realities, and that your vibration and that your frequency will really like shift you into which humanity you will be with, then you let go of the aspect of where is this humanity like going, and you begin really focusing on your energy, because you know your frequency and vibration will shift you into a new reality where you match that vibration, right? Because in reality, there is not only one humanity. There's infinite humanities experiencing infinite infinite experiences on their timeline based on the collective in a sense vibration of that humanity. So but if like you're unaware that you are like that powerful, because look, there's only like one of us, which is like source. So I'm source, and I'm creating all of you. I'm creating this laptop, I'm creating like the USA, this planet, and I'm kind of watching myself with the belief system that I'm separate than all. So there's only like one of us the whole time, creating all these little versions of us that are also one of us. So it gets a bit complex if you get into the infinite of the infinite of the infinite. But like for this humanity, I feel that we're heading into a good direction, but we're also going to split. Like we're going to have people like that will split into different timelines. You can always observe other people's realities. And look, this doesn't mean that as you awaken, all of a sudden, all of humanity is all like awakened. No, because I live in like my own bubble of reality. You live in your own bubble of reality. I can observe you and I can honor like your reality, but I could be in a completely different vibration. Right? Because sometimes there are people like in your life where it completely fall off and you haven't talked to them in like 20 years and you're like, where did they go? They've always been here, but you haven't met because both of your vibrations are different, right? It's like listening to a radio, right? Like you're listening to 103.5 and you're listening to rock music, but you know, at the same time, there's 20 other radios.
Exactly. It's
that are
that, I
playing.
say that all the time. Dimensions, it's like radio stations. You can only listen to one at a time.
Exactly.
But yet they say you can exist in several at the same time as well. So essentially we can split?
Well, we'll see where, right? So even like the idea, like, are we splitting? No, we're not splitting. We're all of it at once. It's just our awareness, our focus right now is on this physicality. When we expand our focus, then we can, I can experience me in many different realities and the other versions of me all at once or separately. But in this reality, we're so focused on what's happening in the now moment, which now like the now moment is really coming through. There is no destination. Like there is no space like in time or a point where you say, I have ascended and yay, I've reached this level. That doesn't exist.
No.
The only destination, if you want to think about destination, is this now moment. What am I experiencing? Like, what am I feeling? What's the emotionality? What am I like going through? And really like surrendering into what this experience means in this instant. Always surrendering. If I'm feeling sad, what does it mean to feel sad? How does it feel to be fully sad? Be in it and honor it. But when we resist those emotions, we stay in the loop because we're not allowing it to be what it is.
We have to experience it.
We have to experience it like fully, because the trick is the moment you surrender in it and you experience it fully, that energy is fully seen by you. When it's fully seen by you, then it integrates with you and you don't experience again. Now like you experience a different version of that, because all these energies just want to be seen and fully experienced like by you. When we resist, they continue happening. When you fully surrender, like you move on to the next thing. That's the trick.
Okay. Yeah. So what Alan is saying, back in the day, Toni is talking about what was called aspect theory. Everything exists all at once, all in time and space. We focus on one reality at a time.
Exactly.
See, that would be difficult, like for me to kind of, because I've thought about this a lot, thinking, okay, if I end up in another reality and it's all love and light, and we're not going through everything we're going in here, I would be, because I know me, would be thinking about the ones, if I was aware of the ones I left behind who were still going through this pain and through this hardship, because I chose to come back, in this with my warrior spirit and, as I have through many lifetimes. And I chose to come back and to try to make things as easy for as many people as I can.
Yeah.
I couldn't leave people behind. I would have a real hard time with that.
But listen, so like that way of thinking is also because we're so entrenched into separation and also into the mentality that I need to save them. We're disempowering them by like thinking this way. And this is the trick of unconditional love and like pure empowerment, that I'm not here to disempower your journey. You're an ascended master and you're having your journey. Who am I to steal that journey like away from you? Because you're ascending through it. When you begin really like witnessing and experiencing that, look, like we have a lot of homelessness in Washington D.C. and
Oh,
like
everywhere,
you
dude.
know,
Yes.
yes, exactly.
Yes.
Right. And like when I would drive, like in the past, like before I awoken, I would feel, oh my God, bad. I would give them money. I would give them food. I would try to get clothes,
Mhm.
whatever, like you help in whichever way that you can. Now,
Mhm.
in our minds, we're helping, but at the same time, we're disempowering them because we're not seeing them as actually powerful.
See, yes, you're hindering their journey, is what you're saying, of what they're supposed to experience. So,
Exactly.
okay, so let me pose this to you,
Sure.
because a family member of mine, actually, I'm gonna say it, my son said this to me one time. He
Sure.
says, we're all attachments to one another. He goes, I'm your attachment. And I'm like, okay, my little attachment, I will leave this right here. And he's an adult. And then, of course, he had a child. And I went, oh, look, I have another little attachment to love. And he just stared at me like, what did you just say? I was like, well, it's, it's either we're attachments. We're attached to everything and everyone, or, but it makes sense when you think about it.
But we are attached.
I
We're
know,
never disattached. You
but
know that.
yes, I know. I
Yeah.
know.
And look, when you like disempower like the other being, right? Like and like let's go back to the homelessness like idea, right?
Yeah.
So in like the past, I would do acts, I give money or I give love or I give food or I give clothes. And like from my aspect, I'm helping that because I'm thinking of them as disempowered. But
Mhm.
now these days I would still do that. I would give money, I would do this, blah, blah. But now I see them from a very different view. I see them as beautiful, strong, empowered
Mhm.
beings, even stronger than me, to have
Mhm.
chosen to come to Earth and experience that dark life for them
Mhm.
to expand, but also to allow my heart to expand through observing them.
Mhm.
Do you see
Right.
the difference?
Yes.
And I give them energy of empowerment because
Mhm.
remember, our thoughts are actual energy. So if I'm seeing you as a disempowered being, I'm in a sense like keeping you in the disempowered aspect of you. But no, I want you to remember that you are empowered. So I'm going to see you that. But also, like the other aspect is when we believe that we're all one, and He is truly uh,
Mhm.
faster than me, and
Mhm.
he needs to go through that journey to expand. Because look, he may have lived the life that he was the richest man on earth or on whichever
Mhm.
planet. He wanted to experience like as a divine being the other
Mhm.
side of the spectrum. Who
Mhm.
am I to not honor that journey and not honoring like his journey and like disempowering that is like judgment. And when we judge, we separate.
Mhm.
When we
Mhm.
go in with unconditional love, we integrate, we bring it back. The
Mhm.
praying mantis like gave me this beautiful picture. They said, imagine, and I'm gonna channel for a bit kind of
Yeah.
consciously.
Oh, please, please.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna close my eyes like
Okay.
control them. And you're gonna notice that my stuttering is gone because obviously they've come through.
Okay.
We would like to impart the following image, the following analogy to help your minds understand the totality and wholesomeness of who you are. Imagine you are a painting. Whichever painting that you can see in your mind, an abstract painting, a painting of an ocean or a field, whatever comes to your mind in this now moment. And assume for a moment that that is your infinite beingness. You are all of this painting. You are the infinite as that expression. When you judge an aspect of you, when you judge an aspect of someone else, when you judge a thought of someone else, a choice or a decision, or even when you judge yourself, your choices. You take a piece of that painting, a small little square, and you place distance. You throw it into the ether. The next time you judge someone else or you take another piece and you throw it into the ether. Next time you judge, you take another piece, you throw it into the ether. The next time you judge, you take another piece and you throw it into the ether. What you are looking at now is a painting filled with holes, Holes. The act of unconditional love integrates those pieces back into that painting. So when you become aware that you are the infinite, when you become aware that you are always connected, interconnected with all, that there is no disconnection, that disconnection is simply an illusion of the mind, of your creation, then you can go back to each of those pieces that you have judged. May it be a person you judged, an experience for a person, your own self, your own decisions. go back to those pieces. And in this now moment, those pieces have felt, in a sense, lonely and have felt unseen by you and unwanted and invalidated. You told yourself in that moment that this little piece of the painting I don't agree with, and you throw it away, in a sense. When you go back to that piece that you judged and see it from an unconditional love and compassion aspect, and face it and tell it, I see you and I honor your journey as you are. And I love you unconditionally. I may not understand the reason and the purpose why you chose this decision or why you chose this path, but I see you as a part of who I am, as a divine being, and I honor your journey with unconditional love. When you do that, then you literally bring that piece back into that painting that is filled with holes. And the more that you do that, you bring the pieces back to that painting, you begin to see yourself as the whole total being that you are. And that is the purpose of life, specifically for this humanity, because you have decided to separate yourself and live in the illusion of separation. And on top of that, live with the illusion of judgment that keeps you more separate within the idea of separation. The idea of enlightenment and me becoming enlightened and expanded is that idea, is going back to your heart and facing all of those decisions and choices and actions and behaviors and seeing them as part of you, honoring their journey. And with each act of unconditional love, you literally bring a piece back to that beautiful painting to be able to see yourself finally as the total infinite being that you are. So when I channeled that, like for a client, like what I felt, I like beyond the words, and I'm kind of out of it now, like for a moment, it's so even though like the words are actually coming out of my mouth, what I experience is absolute knowingness of what that means. Like this is why I say we don't understand what unconditional love. We think we understand intellectually like what it is, but the action of unconditional love takes work because you're restructuring the mind to begin like seeing
it's conditioning as well.
Very, very. It's so conditioning. But I mean, like, look at that painting. Like, what we are doing, like, to ourselves, really, we're bringing all the pieces that are like fractured back into one, so we can finally observe ourselves as the beautiful totality of who we are. And it's the act of integration and love that really like does that. Hatred and judgment, all that keeps us away from who we are because we're all of it.
Do you think that's why there's so much of it going on in the world now to keep us from reaching our potential?
Look, I feel religion, when it like first began, whenever like religion began, had a good intention. And of course, within religion, there are beautiful sayings, there are beautiful like expressions, like that are and here comes the stuttering because I'm back to life now, of unconditional love. But it's designed, it's a trick. It's kind of designed to keep you to almost like touch unconditional love, but still stay like within separation. Also, our education system, ever since like I awoken, is very corrupt in the sense that it keeps you like as separate. What's intelligence? Like, look, the fact that there's like a whole grading system say, oh, if like you get an A, you're smart. If you get an F or a D, then you're like less smart. That's bullshit. That's all separation. That's all judgment. Imagine like a world. I mean, I always say this: if we have a new like education system where we allow our children and kids to really follow their passion and to know from a young age that they are powerful beings, they are divine beings, they have access. Their words are magic, their feelings are magic, their intention is magic. Can you imagine what a beautiful world like will be? That
we are beings of light having a human experience.
Exactly.
Technically speaking.
Exactly. That's why like kids see things. That's why like kids from the age, I don't know, like 0 to 5, 6, or 7, they're an open vessel.
Yes.
Yeah. like
Yes.
they're an open canvas to all.
Mhm.
But then like society, then like mom and dad says, oh, like don't do this or don't do that. Then they go to school and there's more judgment. Then you like look at magazine, this person is
Mhm.
thin, this is fat, or this is ugly, or this is beautiful. Like all these like separative things begin, and that's how we get conditioned. Then you talk about religion, which there's
Mhm.
beautiful aspects of religion, but there's aspects of religion where they say that you're separate and you're a
It's
sinner.
like anything. It's like anything. The balance, there's everything has, the good, the bad. It's up to us, I think, to filter through that
Yes.
and put aside what insults us and
Yeah.
insults our essence, and take in and surround ourselves by energy or people who where we can complement one another, where we can grow together.
Exactly. And
Mhm.
look, I'm called to say this, like for your audience, whoever is listening to this now, or will listen to it in the next
Mhm.
month or 10 years, 100 years, however long this podcast will be.
Mhm.
In this discussion, it's like don't worry too much about like what's being said. If it's becoming a little bit like out of reach, or I'm not understanding, don't worry. There's a lot of energetics that's happening between us right now. There's a
Mhm.
lot of packets of downloads. You're being downloaded all
Mhm.
those seeds. The
Mhm.
fact you're here already tells you that your higher self really led you here, because you're
Mhm.
expanding, you're awakening, and I'm
Mhm.
awakening through you. And
Mhm.
like beyond the words of our exchange, we're all energy beings. We're sharing stuff.
Mhm.
Like you're bringing me all kinds of memories and things, and I'm bringing you like all kinds of memories and things.
Mhm.
So no, in this exact moment, and in the future moments where people will like listen like to this episode, you're being activated. You're led here for a reason, and
Mhm.
your path will look very different than mine. Will look very different than Michelle or like your neighbor. So
Mhm.
trust that intuition, trust that discernment, because it's all about listening to the whispers and the
Mhm.
voices that are within us, within
Mhm.
your heart, that we've been taught to go away from it, not to listen to it.
Mhm.
It's
I agree.
always being communicated by. You all have angels and Christ consciousness and Buddha and Krishna and aliens and all kinds of good beings always guiding you, and angels and
Mhm.
we're always guided. But when
We're
you unaware,
labeling, right? They're
yeah,
these beautiful
exactly,
dimensional, interdimensional beings of light in whichever form
yeah.
that we perceive them in.
Yeah, and we're never alone, guys. We are
Yeah.
never alone, have never been alone, will never be
Mhm.
alone. You
Mhm.
always have guidance.
Mhm.
Um, and listen to yourself.
Mhm.
Like really listen to your heart or even your mind, right? Because
Mhm.
your heart is, whichever path, like listen to the calling that's within you.
Mhm.
And don't be afraid to step out and be bold. Like, look, I went like this, like to Congress today, and nobody was dressed like this with nails and everybody was in suits or jeans and t-shirts or whatever. And like for a moment, my like 3D, because I don't dress like this normally here in Washington,
Mhm.
right? So I have the markings like when I sell real estate in my nails, but
Mhm.
not like this is kind of like reserved like for all the events. But like today, I said, you know what, I'm gonna stand in my truth and walk on like Capitol Hill and walk into these like governmental buildings,
Mhm.
being who I am. And the reception that I received was beautiful. Everybody's like, oh my God, I love your outfit. I love, or like, what do you do? Or whatever. It
Mhm.
was an embrace of something different. And that's
Mhm.
how we activate each other. When you step outside the boundary, be the
Mhm.
disruptor with
Mhm.
love
Mhm.
of like the paradigm. Because the more that we look like homogenous,
Mhm.
and one thing, we're not giving others the opportunity to express. And it's all
Stop
expression.
blending. Stop blending. Just express yourself, as they
Yes,
say.
yes.
So my question is, because CL made a comment, says I'm having a hard time grounding these days as well. So I mean, a grounding keeps us and keeps our energy from being scattered, right? It helps us to focus. What do
Yeah.
you recommend for grounding so people can maybe find that focus and not be so having
Yeah.
energy going all over the place?
Hi, CL Thomas. I appreciate your question, because I, for the longest time, didn't understand what grounding was. Like, really, I didn't. I
Mhm.
like thought I did, but I really didn't.
Right.
Um, I can be in the cloud. Listen, I'm Pisces and I'm fish sign and I'm dreamy
There's
and
Amelia,
I,
my
I love to
co-host,
like,
yeah,
um, you know, and like
yeah,
people have like described me at times that I'm not grounded, which I did not believe and resonate with, like to be honest.
okay,
But there are times where if you feel that you're not focused and you're everywhere, if you're feeling it, not that somebody else is telling you, Because look, somebody else is like witnessing something for them. We are a mirror like for each other. So when you witness somebody else, like, you know, in a state of being, it's really a reflection of what's happening within that person that's witnessing you, that's not realizing. So if you feel that you're ungrounded, there are all kinds of techniques. Like breath work is really important. When you breathe, and more than just breathe, hear, like listen to your sound of
It's
breath.
like meditation almost, but
Like meditation.
right.
Exactly. If you go outside, you can take your shoes off and like walk
Earthing.
barefoot.
Yeah.
Earth is amazing grounding. You can
Yes.
hug a tree. You can put your hands on.
I always
On
say
the tree.
that. Yeah.
I always hug trees, and I always
Because
walk
they
barefoot.
exchange their energy with you. Like
Exactly.
it's they're sentient, right?
Exactly. And then you can speak to yourself. Listen, you're that powerful to create anything that you desire. If you really want to be grounded, say, I am in a state of ungroundedness and I am ready to be grounded. Just talk to yourself that you're that powerful. Like you don't need all kinds of crazy tools. You're that powerful. But you have to like really like believe in yourself that you are a magical being. If you don't believe that, then the act of like saying it is just like a parrot, right? Just blah blah blah, and
It's
it's not happening.
intention. The power behind the words, the intention behind the acts and the movement and
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
thoughts. Yeah.
You can go outside, like stand like in the sun. I love the sunlight. I love the moonlight, and just talk to the sun and say, "Help me ground." If like you want to say that, because why? All of it is real consciousness, and really grounding is not that you're ungrounded. It's just allowing you to kind of remember and like remember more of who you are from a more focused aspect of like things, right? Because you could say that I'm ungrounded when I'm everywhere, but it could be that you're being aware of all these awarenesses at once. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the like definition of what grounded means, I kind of don't resonate always with. I know it's within the field of meditation, and like physical vessel and like this and that. And look, I define myself like as a vessel of love, and of unconditional love, you know, and of light. And whatever I choose with my words, whatever I think with my thoughts, whatever I feel with my intention will happen. And I don't need all kinds of techniques to like make me get there. The techniques are just permission slips and excuses to get you back to remembering that you can instantly manifest any state of being that you want.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
But tree hugging is great, like being barefoot is great, being in the sun, breath work, breathing, and listening to the sound of your voice. Oh, also tuning, like saying or just saying just listen, hear your voice, because creation is sound and it's vibration.
So is that basically because, as Nikola Tesla always said, it's about vibration, frequency. It's what the universe is made up. It's what we're a part of. That's why you can get binaural beats and healing frequencies. And just going is essentially that tone, that vibration, right?
Totally. We are not physical. The physicality of our aspect is the definition of the structure that we or like it's like computer programming. When you give the computer like commands, like to do things, the computer can only do the commands that you give it, right? So the commands that we've given is that like we're solid beings and we're not consciousness. This is how we begin. So we begin experiencing that because we put in this command. But now we're inputting extra command that I'm more than this, that I'm conscious, that I'm energy. And like little by little, you'll begin to experience your way more than just like the physical, right? Yeah.
Yes. So essentially, again, I hear frequencies all the time. I'm very sensitive to frequencies. So I feel that if you can tap into that, I mean, that could basically be like the cure to all, as far as I'm concerned. I'm a big Tesla fan. So, right. Yeah. I mean, I love working with tones, and I love working with different vibrations, and you get a lot of that from instruments, bells and things like that, right? Singing bowls.
Yes. And like really begin owning your voice, right? Like the voice, again, like our society. And look, I just realized that that my website, I'm like
Is it
sorry.
wrong?
Yeah, no, but it says like .zom instead of .com, but that's fine. But people will get it.
Oh, okay. Now we'll
But it's
change
cool.
it right now.
No
That's
worries.
that's just me.
The Z just came through. But so look, our society has, and look, like this is like the conditioning that
Mhm.
we've been like conditioned like within society, that like unless you have a good voice, then you shouldn't utter that voice. And that like good voice has to be on the spectrum of like, look, I'm not a singer and I don't understand how that works, but on the spectrum of like, that's all bullshit. Your sound, it is bullshit. Your sound,
I just love it.
listen, your sound is your sound of creation.
Mm,
There is no right sound. There is no
right.
wrong sound,
It's
right?
whatever you resonate with.
Totally. Like whatever, like
Yes.
me, like right now, I want to say,
Mhm.
oh, and I'm not a singer, and I judge my voice for, I'm like, I have the worst voice, but I've been beginning to embrace just my sound,
Mhm.
own who you are. And that embracement and like that surrender
Mhm.
gets you into your own vibration and frequency, and that's creation.
I
With,
sing all the time, and I had a guide make mention, "You like to sing." I'm like, "How do you know I like to sing?" But only when I'm by myself. If I'm driving or I'm just like, yeah, I'm just belting it out there.
yes, yes, yes.
But it makes you feel good. It raises your vibrations, and when you put that out, that's what you attract back to yourself,
Yes.
right?
But also you're hearing yourself beyond the
Yeah.
physicality. You're hearing yourself beyond like the
Yeah.
limitation. You're expressing yourself in more than the label. If you're an architect, or I don't know, or like a garbage person, or I don't know, whatever like labels that we put on as humans, you're more than that. You're a multi-dimensional being, unlimited in nature. Express everything that your heart desires.
Mhm.
Express everything that the whisper like desires. When you watch a movie, or when you watch like a documentary that like just comes out of the blue, whatever
Mhm.
you see there, if you resonate with anything that you just watched, whether
Mhm.
whatever, and like you have an inkling to do it, do it. That's a calling from creation for you to express. The more you express, the more you feel. The more you feel, the more you experience. The more you experience,
Mhm.
the more you're becoming all. The more you become all, the more you remember you're infinite. But the
Mhm.
more that we are doing the one thing that we are doing, which is, I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth, I use the toilet, I go to work. I'm called an architect or whatever like your job is, and then I drive in traffic and I come back home and I have kids. The more you do this repetitively over and over again, you're limiting. You're in unlimitedness to that.
Mhm.
It's okay to do that and everything else.
Yes, yes.
You know.
Richard saw you on Portal to Assertion recently.
Uh, uh, yes, yes. And I've been on so many podcasts. I'm on so many shows. I'm on. I have so many
That's
events.
okay. Yeah,
Right.
it's
Thank
great
you.
that you are, because you're just getting everything out there. So tell me, I mean, you work primarily with praying mantis. Do you have I don't know why I'm being dinged, but I can't tell where it's coming from. Have you had other energies, like, or other extraterrestrial beings come to you trying to,
Communicate.
have you communicate for them as well?
Yeah. So look, when I first began, like I practiced, I practiced like with my friends for about 4 months. From like, it was every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to midnight.
Mhm.
And like my husband was like, "What are you doing on Zoom?" I'm like, "Babe, we're just like, we're having like, when you're having
Yeah,
fun, you can stay up
yeah.
all night." He's like, "We're having a relationship with this thing called channeling." I'm really sorry, babe, but I have to follow my heart. And he's really cool. But he made that comment at one time.
Right.
But like during those channeling like sessions, the praying mantis allowed me the conduit, and
Mhm,
this is like my journey into
mhm,
other things. I've channeled like the Arcturians, I've channeled leprechauns, I've channeled like Ganesh, I've channeled like the white tall grays,
mhm,
I've channeled all other beings. But on top of that, what was really surprising to me, I channeled concepts that are abstract, like the black velvet void, which I'm like, what can you say about the black velvet void? And it's all recorded. I have recordings
yeah.
of them.
Mhm,
Even sound, like I've channeled uh, the
mhm,
consciousness of sound, of these light particles,
mhm,
of like crystalline structures, like worlds that are made out of crystals, but they're consciousness and alive and
mhm,
aware, and they see things from their perspective. So so for me, like the praying mantises have allowed me the opportunity to experience those things. But me, like when I go to the event, I only bring them like I only bring like the praying mantises. But if somebody asks if you can connect with
mhm,
my beings, I have the ability, and whatever comes through then will come through, that's relevant for that person that asked.
mhm,
So,
mhm,
and of course
mhm.
we all can do this. It's not like
So
you have
so
to have.
what if somebody said, "Can you channel a reptilian?" Because they're very funky. I mean, sometimes they can be very aggressive. Other times, it's been
Mhm.
hit and miss with me. Like
Yeah.
I've have actually had not a bad interaction of late.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I've had like so far great a great like great interactions, because I think part of it I like defined my world or my energy of being pure love and like pure light, and unless you're of that
Yes.
vibration, you're not.
They're not getting near you.
That's
Right.
what I define. So I'm
Yes.
experiencing that aspect of it.
Yes. No, I think that's good.
But
That's a
this is
boundary.
that's boundary. But reptilians are amazing beings. I mean, oh my God, they're super friendly. They're
Mhm.
different. Like their like sense of humor or the way that they see things is a bit different. And look, like and like
Growly.
you can
It's
sense
hard to get
energetic.
past that though sometimes. It's a
Yeah,
bit
the
yeah.
mind. But see, when you think of it of aspect of like sound, then your
Mhm.
mind changes, right?
Okay.
Because remember, growl in our mind as society, if a thing growls at you, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, right.
But it's just vibration that you're not acclimating to yet. But when you allow
Okay.
that vibration to go in, then you begin clearer message. You'll
Mhm.
receive clear message. The other day, I was in the forest, um, and like I go meditate there, and I haven't been there over a year because I've been traveling. But I was called
Mhm.
to go there. Something insane happened. Listen to this. I was in the middle of the forest, and I always go like away from humans or whatever I want to be with the trees and birds and wind.
And the Bigfoot. I had to say it.
I can't believe it.
You have a
That's how,
tickle. I had to
that's
say it. Right.
That's how
Okay.
psychic you are. Listen, I don't connect with Bigfoot. Like they're not part of my vocabulary.
Right.
I
Yeah.
know them and I love them, but they're just not of my thing that always comes up
Yes.
to me. But I'm sitting there and I'm about to meditate and I hear, and I'm like, I see deer, I see foxes, and I know
Mhm.
how their
They sound
footsteps
like
go.
yeah.
And it felt like a human, and I'm going like, and like my ears perked up, because look, if there's a human that's like 20 feet away, I'm not going to go into deep meditation. I want to make sure I'm alone, that if
I'm
I,
safe.
thank you, safe.
Yeah.
But the next thing I hear was phenomenal. I hear this like whistle, and immediately like my whole body like got chills, and like I wasn't afraid, but I text my friend. Literally, I say, "Do Sasquatches whistle?" And then I say, "Do deers whistle?" Like a deer, the
Yeah.
whistle. Like I know deers don't whistle, duh.
Right.
But like my physical
Humor
mind
me.
yeah, but my physical mind was not like really comprehending. I had contact with a Bigfoot, because, and I didn't know if they actually like did whistle, but what I knew instinctively, that the sound I heard, the vibration of the, cannot be recreated through a human throat,
Mhm.
and it felt extra dimensional. And that evening, I go home and I'm Googling online for 2 hours and I cannot find anything. And out of the blue, I find on SoundCloud this woman that's been kind of like recording like Bigfoot, and literally I hear verbatim and I get chills all over my body. And I call my friend who loves like Sasquatches, and he's like, "Oh my God, Tony, you had contact." I'm like, "I know, in Washington, D.C." Like it was the most
Oh,
magical,
they're active out there.
beautiful thing.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. So you made a connection.
I made a connection, and it was just magical. And I don't know what the point I was trying to say here, but we were talking about something.
Well, going into the woods and meditating, having contact
Yeah,
and
totally.
octaves and frequencies
The
and
sound, exactly. The
growling, the
sound.
sound. Yes.
Exactly. So
Yes.
so the more that you get in touch with yourself, and the more that you challenge your mind, even though that you may not understand all the pieces, and you don't need to understand all those pieces, you can simply say, "I am an infinite being, and I am multidimensional." Just that intention alone, without needing to understand all the mechanics of what that means,
Mm.
really like shifts you into the vibration and allows and welcomes the infinite to come into your space.
Mm.
But when you continue defining yourself that I'm a man, I'm an architect, whatever, I'm this, I'm that, I'm married, I have 2 kids, I live
Mhm.
here, I live there. And if you continue like defining yourself with this like limited aspect and lens,
Mhm.
you only are letting in what you're defining. So know that you don't need to know the mechanics and all the details of how the universe works. But
Mhm.
through your intention, through your voice, through your words, you can
Mhm.
expand it by just saying, I don't understand how this whole thing works, but I want to know that I'm multidimensional. I'm ready to open to my multidimensionality, and the universe will bring you synchronicities that are off the charts. I mean, I have you.
I agree. It's a telepathic thing. As soon
Exactly.
as I went, from having my childhood as an experiencer,
Yeah.
as an adult, again, maybe conditioning, maybe
Yeah.
just not ready for it. But all it took was me in my mind saying, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And then a ridiculous amount of the stuff started happening. Like, all right, I get
Yes.
it.
Yes.
You're all here.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. But then when you say that, don't go into it with expectation, right? Like, don't say
No.
that I'm ready and I'm expecting, because expectation is also limitation.
Mhm.
Just say, I'm open, universe, to whatever messages you want to send me, whatever synchronicities, whatever images. I'm
Yes.
open to anything. And that will create the magic. And guys, like, communication comes in many ways. It's not just verbal. It could be through a song. It could be through a memory. It could be through a dream. You could be driving on the street, on the highway, and a truck passes you with one word on the back of it.
It's happened to me twice, just like that.
Totally.
It was just like a complete synchronicities. I always
Yeah.
say that a lot of times they come in synchronicities. And
Yeah.
the word on the truck thing,
Yeah.
both times were names of somebody I knew, and I knew exactly what the event was happening. And it's just, we're
Yeah.
here. We're here.
Totally. You could be reading like an article, like a 12-page article, and like one word really stands out. That's
Yes.
communication. So we're always being bombarded by those, and we're always communicated. And the more you allow yourself to be aware that you are, the more you'll begin to see them, and everything explodes in all kinds of good direction. I mean, you begin like realizing I live in a magical world of constant communication. Like, there's messages that are being delivered to us all the freaking time, like all the freaking time.
But it's people who are not recognizing it. Is that what it is? Which was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
How do you recognize what's just a mere thought and what's an actual message?
Okay, listen, like your own patterns, right? Like, how you think, how you talk, like when you stop and wonder, the moment you have an instinct, like a semi, like microsecond of like where you stop and think, that's a message. Why? Because that small, like wondering is your clue that it's not part of my pattern, that I just witnessed something that's not part of my pattern, and that is in trust. Trust. I don't care if there's 20,000 people like in front of you, like, let's say I'm looking at the sun and it looks blue, and you're looking at the sun and it feels red to you. Trust your instinct, right? So you get challenged sometimes that you may see the whole world like saying one thing, but you're feeling trust that instinct, and that trust alone into your own knowingness unfolds and opens up a world of just more synchronicities and more knowingness, because all the wisdom is within us, guys. It's not coming outside of us, happening through us.
I suspect our forces working for us more than against us. God, I hope so.
Okay, listen, this is
Really hope so.
good question. Like, I forget.
It was Alan.
Alan.
Yeah, it was,
Very good question, and I love that question, because look, this is where you go like the next level up, right?
Yes.
Because as a creator, when you begin knowing that I'm a creator and I create whatever reality I want to be in, then you have a choice. You can experience like a world where like you live where everything is or all the beings are for you, but you can also experience a world that all the beings are against you. But you can also experience a world as I have some beings that are for me and I have some beings that are against me. You are the producer of your own movie. The like our whole humanity in life is a stage. And the stage is like designed for us to experience all these roles. You get to choose what role you want to play and which other cast members are in your storyline. But you get to that stage when you begin believing and beyond believing, knowing that I am the creator. But if you keep thinking in the old paradigm of I am separate and I'm not the creator, there's a God somewhere out there that's doing this, then you're not going to get to the point where you get to have a choice, because you're giving your choice away to that God out there.
And in all fairness to those who, to people of strong faith,
Sure.
you do, if your faith is saying, no, my God is there, is all loving. He also gave you free will.
Yes.
Which means you can manifest how your path is going to go and how your story is going to go.
Yes.
You are the author of your own book, right?
Totally, 100%. And
Yeah.
I'm happy like that you said that, because look, like this whole discussion is not to get you away like from religion, or if you believe in Jesus,
Mhm.
Mother Mary, Krishna, Buddha. No, what we're saying is all those deities that
Mhm.
we've been taught are outside of us
Mhm. Are
are
within.
really within you, and
Mhm.
really within you. Because
Mhm.
even like the guy that stopped me on the street and like grabbed the Bible and said,
Mhm.
Jesus, Jesus, literally, he was so emphatic. I'm like, I'm smiling. I'm like, dude, I'm Christian. I grew up Christian all my life. I believe in Jesus. But I told him, Jesus is inside of me. He's in my heart. He's
Mhm.
like, yes, he's in your heart. But I'm like, no, I am Jesus. And he's like,
Mhm.
no, I'm not. He wouldn't accept the idea that he is Jesus. But that
Mhm.
tells you about the self-worth of our
Mhm.
godness, that
Mhm.
we're not taught we're gods. We're taught gods outside of us. But the
Mhm.
trick is, it's within us.
We're God's children. That's his,
Yes.
so
Yes.
yes,
And
yes.
look, and look, Jesus said, I'm kind of, I am paraphrasing the following, is that you are made in the image of me. Literally, he was saying, you are the same fabric, the same reality as I
As
am.
as I am. Mhm.
So if you see me as this God that is all glorious and can heal,
Mhm.
blah 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 blah, you are that too. But
Mhm.
these words were not understood that way, because
A lot has been taken, mistranslation and such, things have been rewritten, things have been left out.
exactly.
It's like the strong belief that you need to go to a physical structure every week to find God, or to spend time with God. I prefer to go to the forest, and I find, I make my strongest connections if I am just listening to music, or if I'm just by myself and reflecting and making my connection that way. I distract easily. I don't need to be in a temple sort
Yes.
of thing. I feel that, I'm a temple.
Yes, 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 yes. I'm so happy. Like I'm super happy that you said that, and I'm getting very excited, which means I'm gonna probably stutter a lot more. I have to
Sorry.
like, no, no, it's okay. Because
Yeah.
I used to go to church all the time. I
Yeah.
love candles. I
Mhm.
love the incense. All the
Mhm.
churches like that I go to have icon like it. It's a holy place, and it carries a beautiful energy, right? Of all the good, pious people that because it's a great place, like of
Mhm.
meditation. But like when I began awakening, I struggled with the fact of not going. I felt guilty that I'm not going to church anymore, because I was so trained. I needed to go there, right? And then
Mhm.
it hit me. Church is inside of me. Like you said, I am the temple.
Mhm.
I can take church anywhere I go. I can take
Mhm.
Jesus, Mother Mary, Krishna, Buddha, aliens, Mantis, white
But I
grace.
think that's what you're taught, eventually,
Exactly.
that it's all within you. The kingdom is within you. The
Exactly.
Because I'm spiritual. I'm not a religious person. I have my beliefs and my faith, and I accept all that is encompassing and positive.
Yes.
I
Yes.
cannot insult my intelligence or my essence, or it's not allowed.
Yes, and we're natural beings, guys. Like listen to her. We are made of nature. We are nature.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know.
Mhm.
Listen, we're born naked. Let's put it that way. Nobody's born with shoes on, or a bra, or underwear, or I don't know what
Mm.
else.
Mhm.
Nobody is. We're born
Mhm.
naked, right?
Mhm.
I just had to say that, and you guys,
That's
you can go. You can go whichever
that was all
direction.
right. So, no, but
And
I
yeah,
no,
and even
manifestation, it comes
yeah,
back to that.
I don't know why. Yeah, like I don't know. Like, sorry. I want to mention sex, like like if that's okay. So one instance, because like, right, because the whole topic of sex, that's another thing that's been retweaked into being a bad thing. Um, and all
Well, there's a
sexual,
lot of bad things that happen, but you
of
don't want to
course,
attribute it to the love
of
part of
course,
it.
of
Mhm.
course, of course. But you have the intimacy part of it, right? Where it's like the
Mhm.
chi energy, where it's
Connection.
like the exchange of like two beautiful energies
Mhm.
in a
Mhm.
pure, loving way. And as you co-create, you're like becoming one energy, right?
Mhm.
Even that has been also suppressed. Like to
Mhm.
be sexually like expressive in whichever way, right? I mean, of course, there's like the 3D sex, but there's also like tantra sex, right?
Mhm.
Which is all about breathing, about like connecting like with the person like eye to eye. And like that's something I struggled with like for the longest time.
Well,
I was
you
molested was like when I was a
mhm.
child. I have that trauma too.
Mhm. Well,
And
so you have this ability to connect with these extraterrestrial beings, and and their intimacy is quite different on that level. Like it's an exchange of energy. It's not
Very.
even necessarily a physical exchange.
Exactly. And look,
Yeah.
there's no organs in a sense, like there's no
Yeah.
penis or like whatever else,
Mhm.
but it's just a blending of energy and really becoming one.
Mhm.
Because if you're one energy and there's another energy and you merge together, you're becoming aware of your oneness with that being. And what a beautiful
Mhm.
like union,
Mhm.
like union of oneness. And then you
Mhm.
add more but they see it from a different like perspective in the whole like
Mhm.
co-creation and creation of more beings. It's not
Mhm.
happening from the physical, like sexual, like physical
No,
aspect.
no.
It's happening
It's
in
a
a
union.
it's a
It Mhm.
pure
Mhm.
it's really oneness, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
But I think everything is about oneness. I think we were talking a few minutes before the show, and I was explaining, and I've mentioned this before on the show, just very briefly. But I have a lot of equipment that I've invested in to be able to do communications of different types, and I've had things designed that have been pretty interesting, and experimenting with one evening, and right off the bat, like, well, who am I speaking to? And it was just like, we are you, you are us, we are one. And I was like, all right then. The word. So, but it pretty much it was laid out just perfectly. What's more to say
Exactly.
after that?
And
It's infinite.
I mean, look what you experienced. Like you knew what that meant,
Yes.
and right, and like from that knowingness, everything else crumbles. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like when you
Mhm.
understand that I'm one with all, you
Mhm.
begin seeing everyone else very differently. Like
Well,
I
so
see
look at consciousness.
very
When you put out a thought into consciousness to show how we share a consciousness,
yeah,
I mean, I've tested this theory, and we kind of all get a chuckle about it because I do obscure things when I'm testing, the human consciousness, and I'll put out a random word. Like one time, it was like swell because it's a '50s word. Nobody ever says it, so I went
yeah,
swell. And do you know how many times I heard that in a week or saw it written somewhere? Oh, that was swell. I'll see it for 20 years and all of a sudden I see it all the time.
of
But it was
course,
just an example of having something a bit obscure,
yes,
planting a seed and watching it unfold.
yeah,
So we share consciousness, which
totally,
means we're one.
totally. The same with water. Like I mean, like there've been many tests or like studies where um where like you freeze water and like you put like love or hatred or what,
Yes.
and it forms.
Intention.
But
Yes.
yeah, but now like there's all these studies where like you put water like next to a tree, and um the frozen aspect of the water looks identical to the tree,
Yes.
or a shoe or a human or a flower, or like
Mhm.
it's and how can that happen if there's no exchange of that
Mhm.
energy, if you're not one? Like it's just
Mhm.
beautiful. It's just
Mhm.
amazing.
It is, and you can set your intention, and you can put it down
Yeah,
in water, and you can freeze it, and then you see what the thoughts are. If you're putting negative thoughts, it's amazing how it comes out. And if you put an intention, your intention before you eat food or drink that water, it seems to taste better if it's something positive.
yes. And that's the magical thing that you can do. Every time you eat, every time you drink, like anything, you can say, just put, I always hold it like in my hand. I
Mhm,
say, whatever, like health or like pure
mhm,
body or like pure light,
mhm,
and
mhm.
drink it. You literally restructure the water and the food into whatever thought you put in there.
We are water. So if you are putting water into your temple, into yourself, that is integrating with
Yeah.
yourself
Yes.
as well. So of course that intention is
Yeah.
going to also affect you, in my opinion.
Exactly. But that's how powerful we are. That's how we
Yes.
can change our life. That's how we can manifest abundance
Mhm,
and health and
mhm,
this and that and
mhm,
all and like and all of these things. It's in our power. It's not outside of us.
mhm,
I mean, you're gonna be waiting forever. And I'm sorry to say that. We're gonna be waiting forever if you're always relying
mhm,
on an outside force to
mhm,
change your life, or
mhm.
it's all within you. But that's the disempowerment aspect of things.
You're the master of your own destiny.
You are, and we are ascended masters. And when I say that, I mean it. You're an ascended master. Your audience are ascended masters. I'm an ascended master. We're
Mm-hmm.
all one.
Mm-hmm.
We just divided, like, if like this is source, which is all. We just are we are these small like shards, these small pieces that we decided to split just to experience what it means to be split.
Mm-hmm.
From that.
Mm-hmm.
The reawakening is us all coming back to that sourceness.
Mm-hmm.
From the split part of who we are.
So you work with mantis crystal skulls. I always show off my crystal skull because I've made I chose one that was very unique for me, and when I researched it and felt drawn to it, and I researched all the properties, where it came from, everything, it was exactly me, my personality, everything. So when you work with your skulls, and people can go to your site and look at them, buy some, you have a store, how do you resonate with the different type of stones that you work with?
So I have 8 crystal skulls like yours that I got through Carolyn Ford. So and it was my first awakening about skulls, and I really resonate with them. And look, you just know, right? You just get the ones like you just know, and oftentimes you don't need to know how, you just have to have it. Like it's just a draw. And like through that, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go online and I'm gonna purchase praying mantis crystal skulls. And I thought they existed. I didn't even think that nobody on earth makes them, like no one. And of course, I connect with the praying mantis, so I like began making them. So here's one.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
I know. So this is the big one, and I have another one, like that's in India. Like this is black marble that he makes them, and I have little ones too. But I connect with them, and this is glass, which is
beautiful, beautiful. Mm-hmm.
So look, I always tell my clients, you don't need any of these like to empower yourself.
Okay.
Because really the empowerment is you.
Right.
But if you're on your journey and like you're awakening and you need the next step to remind yourself that you are the power, then you can use like these crystal skulls, because they're consciousness. They're like water. The same idea. If you put love on water, you put love here, this becomes love. And I have a whole shamanic ritual and like sound and like drumming, like you see the drum back there.
Yes, I love that. Yes.
So I drum and I have all
The
these
singing
like,
bowls, and I love
that I
it.
play around with, and I imbue them like with all kinds of openings, like for you, I'm like for you like to connect with like your galactic guides. But I've also had special requests to input health codes or like whatever you want, and this is only to help you on your journey to begin empowering yourself. And like eventually, like you may not use them anymore, and it could be in art. So you don't need them, I always say. But if you're on your journey to reawaken, they're magical tools to allow you to become the powerful being, that you are. And they're all natural stones. They're not dyed. There's no oils. I was very clear with with my carvers that you grab the stone from Mother Earth, exactly how it created it. You just carve it and you polish. That's all you do. Right. Don't try to add color. I want as natural.
Keep your energy out of it. That's my job.
Yes, and I look, and I have a whole ritual of like cleansing. I have like bath salts, and I have all kinds of things to kind of like restructure like the energy so it's ready for you.
I think that's wonderful.
Thank you. So,
so we're slowly inching our way up to the top of the hour. So, I guess I should ask, what can you bring us a message? Because we had some people, make mention about channeling. Is there a message for us moving forward over the course of the next few months? I know it's hard to go a year and a half, or a year ahead rather, because apparently it's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster ride. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go in the state and I'll bring it through?
Sure. Yes. For those who arrived late. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. There you go, Richard. This one's for you.
Okay. So open your heart, and like you're welcome to close your eyes if you feel called. If you're driving, please don't close your eyes. Keep them open to drive. So let's see what they're gonna bring through. I already feel the energies, and okay. Yeah. So yeah. So like they're gonna come through like the way that they come through, which is they like do some toning and stuff, and then they'll begin speaking.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And from the Antares Stargate, we come through in this way to co-create with you this beautiful reality of oneness, to open your hearts with our hearts, to be one with the consciousness of all, to be one with the source that you are. You are the one that you seek. You are the vibration, frequency, light, and color of creation. You are you. And as you navigate the new paradigm of your, we will say, political structure and new way of being, know that although you may think the process of voting has ended and the being that was chosen into power was chosen, your voice is not over yet. The voting mechanism to place your people in power is the first step of your creation. And your power doesn't end there. As you know, you are vibrational beings. Through the thoughts that you think, the words that you use, the intention that you have, you are able to steer the course of your creation, of your reality. So be mindful of the stories, be mindful of the energies that you are sending to the being that is in power. And know that the more that you continue to see that being from a negative perspective, with thoughts of negativity, with thoughts of disdain, with thoughts of, I wish he wasn't there, or whatever the case may be, know that with that intention, with that power, with that sound, you are creating a version of them that matches that. You are inviting that being to stay within that vibration and frequency. And as we mentioned before, and many times, you are all ascended masters. You are all light beings. Choosing to put on costumes and to play on the stage of creation, to remind yourself to have the experience of integration, to allow you truly to get back into your hearts, to honor everyone's journey, even your president's journey. A challenge that some of you may have, but know that with your intention, with your words, with your vision on how you can see and challenge yourself to see to your president, you are able to shift his vibration and frequency to be able to make choices of the vibration and frequency that you choose. And that's how powerful you are. And that's what you are forgetting, is that the more that you begin painting the picture of your president as being of such a vibration, you are creating him of that vibration. And you have the power to shift and allow a new vibration and frequency and a facet of him to emerge of love, of light, one that can see the version that you choose. So the voting hasn't ended yet. You can still, and you are still affecting, influencing your president with the way that you think, with the way that you choose to believe that he is. We encourage you to go in your hearts. We encourage you to see every being on your planet as a light being, regardless of whether or not you understand their path. That is irrelevant because that is their path. Your path is your path. And your purpose of life truly is to get into your heart and experience what unconditional love means through the many challenges that are being thrown at you. Because in reality, the consciousness of your country has chosen the president for a reason, for a purpose. And that purpose and reason can be revealed to you by the vibration and frequency that you input into it. So choose to see a version of him with a different light. Challenge yourself. Expand your minds and hearts to begin seeing that being from a new version that you choose. And the more of you do that, the more of you will be able to bring out a version of him that will match that vibration. Was that helpful?
Wonderful.
Many of you are pondering what was said. We are with you in this vibration and frequency. We are one with you. Be compassionate to all the causes on your planet. Open your hearts fully to every being on your planet. And know that you are powerful enough as a divine creator to shift your reality into the one that you choose. Empower yourself with that thought. Empower yourself with that thought. Empower yourself with that thought. We are always around you, guiding you on the periphery. Many beings, angels, ascended masters, consciousnesses of light are guiding each and every one of you on this journey. Your hearts is the answer that you seek. The wisdom lies within your heart. It is the portal of creation. It is the projector of your reality. And regardless of what occurs on your planet, regardless which direction your planet heads to, in a sense, you are infinite, divine beings living forever and ever and ever. So what should you experience a reality that you do not prefer? It is part of expansion of your infiniteness. There is no destination to reach. As you will continue evolving and evolving and evolving and evolving forever and ever and ever, experiencing yourself as the infinite divine that you are. Know that you are loved unconditionally by the many, and you are observed by the many. As your path has been honored by us and the many. Creation honors your choices, your decisions, your creatorship fully. Creation never, ever judges you. Know that. Your humanity may judge you, and that is a choice that they are making, but know that your creator is not judging you. as you are the creators to begin with. We will infuse and have been infusing energies of peace within this transmission. You may experience the idea of silence from a new way. You may experience the sound of silence. And yes, silence has its own vibration and frequency. Revel in that moment of the 0 point where nothing exists, but yet everything is. Our arms are wide open for you. You are our family. You are our ascended masters. We see you fully in your totality. And we love each and every one of you for who you are, have always been, and always will be. Love is the answer and the key for your ascension. Unconditional love is the vibration of creation. Should there be any further questions, we are happy to answer. If not, we will bring the channel back momentarily to his body.
I think that's it.
With our unconditional love, bright, 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 bright white light of creation, an infinite open heart, we thank you for this beautiful co-creation of oneness and for allowing us to see you in this way, for allowing us to see your lens of creation and your perspective as we have ascended with you in this co-creation. We will bring the channel back momentarily as we head back to the Antares Stargate, where we choose to reside.
Well, thank you for that message.
You're welcome, honey.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you feel that there's like a special silence, and hopefully like your audience can, I'm sure they can feel it.
Mhm. I can not only feel the silence, but I can also feel a different frequency and a vibration that comes from you during the channel. I'm able to take that in. I find it fascinating.
Totally. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, and like what I'm feeling right now is, and again, I'm here, because when I come out of it, it's almost like a dream. Like you remember, and it's like, it fades away. It's like, shit, I can't remember like what it was. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
it's like when you wake up and like, I'm like, Craig, let me tell you about the dream, and I'm like, crap, I don't remember anything about the dream.
I know.
So that's how it feels now. But like what I'm feeling is it's not over yet. Like what I'm hearing, your voice is not over yet.
Mhm.
Your voice continues on, and you can affect with your voice. You can alter with your voice, right? But it's really, truly about seeing other people from a different perspective.
Mhm.
And I have my eyes closed because I'm still kind of in it. It's really to begin challenging yourself that regardless of what the paradigm is and how you've been taught and what society's saying, what others saying, that you still have the power through the way you speak, the way you think, the way you act, the way you behave, to invite a version of any being, whether it's the president or whoever else,
Mhm.
to match it. And this is what like we don't realize is that we're powerful enough to do that. Like we think, like, we voted and he's in office or whatever, she's in office or whoever's in office, and it's over. And like now we're done and now we have to wait for the next 4 years. No, we're consciousness. And we have the power to bring any version of any being out through our intention. So rely less. Stop. They're saying, well, not stop. If you choose to continue, that's your choice, and they'll honor it. But if you challenge yourself to begin seeing him from a different light, you'll see magic. You'll see a shift. You'll see crazy stuff happening. But we need the many to be able to shift the collective of him.
I agree. And you need to have the confidence. You have to remember who you are.
Yes.
Remember who you are, not who you're told you are.
Yes.
That's a big one.
And what's coming through now is, regardless of how the president behaves or whoever ever behaves, however we're being triggered, you're being triggered because there's something within you that we need to work on.
And it's the only thing you have in control of is how you feel.
Yes. And everything is a mirror to us. The president is a mirror to us. The United States is a mirror to us. The planet is a mirror to us. Your parents are a mirror to you. The people you meet on the street, they're a mirror to you, showing you things that we cannot see clearly. That's what mirror work means. That's what shadow work means. When you work on your shadows, the dark, not the dark in terms of bad, but dark, the aspects you cannot see. So when you also challenge yourself that way, okay, I'm feeling X, Y, and Z. Why am I feeling X, Y, and Z? Is it really because of him, or there's something within me I'm trying to release or transmute or bring unconditional love is, or, because, there's all kinds of ways to like approach this.
I wish we had another hour. We might just have to do it again.
I'd love to come back. Listen, I feel the energy of your audience too, as you know, like, it's
yes, exactly. Oh, wow. We have a great audience. Our chat room is awesome. And yeah, they have a great way of making everyone feel welcome. So thank you for all the messages. Thank you for your insight and sharing your journey with us. We definitely will have you come back on, because, oh my goodness, I love your energy. And I think we just need to keep sharing it.
Yeah. And the next time I would love to, like, we can do a whole hour channeling, and like your people, or your family can ask all kinds of questions, and you can go down the line and they can answer them, whatever.
Right.
That way they can prepare if they have any, they can get some.
Alan, it's adorable.
Wait, what happened?
He thinks I'm Lilith for real.
Oh,
no, I think I have too much love and light in there, so I don't think she'd survive for very long. But thank you for the vote of confidence. but no, I was going to say I was quite curious as to your revelation, but I think it's insightful. Thank you.
Listen, the mantis beings are so I've been channeling for about a year now, right? And I've had hundreds of sessions and whatever. And like, you begin to learn where they stand, right? Like, they'll never answer like the question from a 3D base. Let's put it that way. They just won't, because that's not where they reside. That's not where they are. They will always bring like messages from a very expanded view. At times, it may trigger people, because like how can I see him or her, as a light being, but they know what they know. They're expanded enough to see us beyond what we can see us, and they're gonna stand in their truth always, which is allowing me also to stand. And that, I mean, I challenge myself oftentimes. It's easy for me to fall off the wagon.
Sure.
It's easy, but I can get back on it quick. Like, that's the trick now. I fall off. I'm like, let me like run back on the train, and I'm on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But that's part of like humanity. It's really about integrating. It's a tough concept. Even they talked about war. Like, I had one question where like this person asked about war and about like it's dying, and like and their answer was absolutely beautiful. And like some people got it, and like some people got triggered. They're like, how can you see war as like ascended mastery? There's no death. We never die. So when you say I killed that person, you never killed anybody. All that you did, you took a costume off and you put a new costume on. That's, there's the experience
Mm-hmm.
of what death means from a limitation perspective, and it evokes like certain emotions. But
Mm-hmm.
in reality, death isn't happening. There's just
Mm-hmm.
an exchange, a change in form of energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I
and then
agree.
and when you see it from that way, it's like, okay, like war is just a game. I mean, like, because like nobody's really dying to begin with. They're just becoming
Mm-hmm.
energy, becoming a tree, becoming a butterfly, becoming back as a human, becoming an
Mm-hmm.
alien, becoming a planet. Who knows? It's like their choice to do. But that's expanded. That's like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
There's so much more. There's so much more. But I will message you because I do want to book you back. We do have a bit of a wait, unfortunately, but I'm
Right.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to put you on a standby list because I want you back sooner.
This is all in divine timing. It will orchestrate a beautiful cancellation for some reason. It's like, oh, here's Tony again.
I know.
So we
Yay.
trust. We trust you, dude.
I
So
love
I'll
it.
see you tomorrow.
Yes.
No, kidding. You need time to integrate. Everybody does.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. Because now we'll stay in contact.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. And then like just one last message
of course.
for like for your audience. Like when I channel them, like when I really go in like the channeling state, and
Mhm.
as you know, I'm stuttering again now. Again, there's a lot of energies that they have activated within you. So you're a different person
Mhm.
than you were 2 hours ago, then like 30 minutes ago, then 10 minutes ago, then 5 minutes ago when they came through. Believe me when I say that. You're going to have magical experiences, and don't be surprised to begin seeing praying mantises. I get
Mhm.
texts from people that are like, "Oh my God, Tony, I've lived in this state for 25 years, never seen an insect praying mantis," and they show me in this on their car or on their screen of the door, crazy stuff like that.
Right, right.
So
I've seen those too. I try to move them along on their way because people get freaked out by them, so I just
don't
try
be
to move them out of harm's way.
they're amazing beings of love. And
Yes.
in that moment, when you see them, just go in your heart and close your eyes and
Mhm.
trust the intuition. They're sending you messages. They're not there just to stand there and look pretty or scary or whatever.
I'm always listening for clicking and clacking now, let me tell you.
They're there to bring you a message. And look, the
Yep.
message sometimes may not be in the moment. It may be after the fact. Again, if
Mhm,
you're driving a car, it could be through a
mhm,
music, could be through a dream, could be through intuition. A friend
mhm,
could say something. And again, when you have that small moment of like what just happened, that small
mhm.
moment is not your typical routine. That's a clue. That's a flag.
How do they
Listen
feel
for it.
about lights?
Sorry.
Lights, how do they feel about lights? I'm just kinda wondering because I got a message right after that when the click and the clack.
So, so how do you feel? Like you mean
About
how?
lights in the house, like lights.
Oh, I don't know why. What are you experiencing? Are they?
No, because they just said something about, when they come through, it's just like, remember, like the torch, get rid of, they don't want we have LED lights, and I
Yeah.
don't know necessarily that some of the beings do well with them.
Interesting. Well, you keep listening to that and keep me updated. They haven't mentioned anything specifically about like house
Okay.
lights and stuff.
Well, it's just the LED, I
Yeah.
think. It's not good for us, so it's not going to be.
Oh, I see, I see. So in
Yes.
terms of the,
It's a
yeah.
whole other conversation we'll have.
Yeah. And that's what, listen, okay. So if you ask me that question, I say I have a bubble of like love and light, and unless this LED light is of the same vibration, it's just a,
Yes. Perfect.
that's the easiest way.
All right, darling. I'm going to sign us all off. So, everybody, thank you in the chat room for joining us this evening. You guys make it so much more interesting. Big thank you to Toni Ghazi for joining us and for channeling these incredible messages of hope. We are not alone. We are all one. Let's leave here with that thought in our minds. Remember who you are, guys. Remember who you are. So tomorrow night, we welcome the return of, here's another one you've been waiting for, Kevin Estrella, part 2 of his 2-part segment. He will continue on and talk about other extraterrestrial beings that he has had visits with and experience that he's had, telepathy protocols that the Pinti have been teaching him, and the coming Earth level extinction, which sounds a bit dire, but that's apparently where it's going. So brace yourselves for that conversation. Also, thank you for tuning in to the Outer Realm on United Public Radio Network 105.3, 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Big thank you to Folgers Coffee, Justin Snicker. Big thank you to Steve McGinnis. We appreciate you all so very much. You're just part of our Outer Realm family. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And to the rest of you, good night. We'll see you tomorrow evening.